Ava Bennett held a cardboard box against her chest while her front door clicked shut behind her. Inside the apartment, her husband's voice carried through the thin wood like he wanted to be heard. "She'll forgive me," Cole said, laughing under his breath. "Ava always comes back." Ava didn't move for a second. Her hands tightened around the box until the corners dug into her palms. Then she walked, fast, quiet, controlled, down the hallway of the Upper East Side building like she was leaving a fire. Her phone was already in her hand. She didn't call her best friend from the apartment. She didn't call from the lobby. She walked past the doorman with a nod she didn't feel, turned into the side corridor near the service elevator, and finally pressed Mia's name. It rang once. "Mia," Ava whispered, and her voice cracked anyway. "Ava, what happened?" Ava stared at the beige wall, the framed print that had hung there for years, the same spot she'd walked past 1,000 times. Her ring felt heavy, like it had gained weight overnight. "I don't have anywhere to go," she said, "and I can't go back." There was silence on the line, the kind that meant Mia was choosing words carefully so she wouldn't explode and scare Ava into shutting down. "Ava," Mia said softly, "where are you right now?" "In the hallway," Ava answered. I'm leaving. I'm holding a box like some cliché in a movie, and I hate that I'm doing this." "Okay, breathe," Mia said. "Look at me. You're not alone. I'm coming to you." Ava swallowed. "You're across town." "I'll be there." Ava tried to laugh, but it came out broken. "I feel stupid." "You're not stupid," Mia snapped. "He's stupid. He's disgusting. Tell me you're out." "I'm out," Ava said. "I'm out. But I don't know what I'm doing next." Mia's voice turned firm. "You're going to get somewhere safe first. Do you have your keys, wallet, phone charger?" Ava looked down at the box. "Keys, wallet, passport, the important stuff. I left the stupid throw pillows." "Good," Mia said. "Forget the pillows." Ava's eyes burned. She blinked hard. "Mia, I can't go to your place. Your landlord hates me. That man hates sunlight and joy. Don't worry about him." Ava let out a small breath that almost sounded like a laugh. She clung to it like a rope. Then she heard the elevator chime behind her. The service elevator doors opened. Ava didn't turn at first. She assumed it was a building employee, someone with a mop, someone pushing a cart, someone who wouldn't look at her too closely. Footsteps came out anyway, slow, calm, heavy in a way that made the corridor feel narrower. Ava turned her head, just enough. A man stepped into the hallway wearing a black coat that fit him like it was made for him. Not trendy, not flashy, clean lines. Quiet money without trying to prove anything. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and he moved like he didn't rush for anyone. His hair was dark, neat, and his face was composed. Not cold. Controlled. The kind of man who didn't waste expressions. He stopped for half a second when he saw Ava standing there with a box, eyes shiny, voice low on the phone. His gaze flicked to her ring, then to the box, then back to her face. He didn't stare like a creep. He didn't smile like a stranger trying to be friendly. He simply looked, like he was paying attention on purpose. Ava turned away quickly, heat rushing into her cheeks. She angled her body, trying to make herself smaller, trying to disappear into the wall. Mia was still talking. "Ava, who's there?" "Nobody," Ava whispered too fast. The man started walking toward the lobby, but his pace slowed as he passed. Ava's stomach tightened. She knew that feeling, being seen when you didn't want to be seen. She lowered her voice. "Mia, I'll call you back." "No," Mia said. "Stay on. I'm not letting you—" Ava ended the call anyway. Not because she didn't trust Mia, because her pride couldn't handle an audience. She took one step forward to move away from the corridor, and the bottom of her box shifted. Something slid out. Ava watched in horror as a satin bra, still in plastic, with a bright white return tag, slid right out of the box and landed on the marble floor. It made a soft, humiliating sound. Ava froze. The man froze too, then looked away instantly, like he'd just walked into someone else's private moment and refused to claim it. Ava lunged down, snatched it up, shoved it back into the box so fast she almost tore the cardboard. Her face burned so hot she thought it might light the hallway. Ava muttered, of course that would happen. A voice behind her said, calm and low, "It's fine." She looked up. The man had stopped a few feet away, not close enough to crowd her. Close enough to speak like a real person. "It's not fine," Ava said, then immediately wanted to swallow her words. "Sorry, I mean thank you, It's been a day." He studied her for a beat. "I can see that." Ava swallowed. "I'll just go." She took a step, but the box shifted again and she nearly dropped it. She tightened her arms around it and forced herself to keep walking like she wasn't about to fall apart in public. The man walked with her, matching her pace without asking permission. That should have irritated her. Instead, it steadied her in a strange way. They reached the lobby. Warm air, soft lighting, quiet holiday music that felt insulting in that moment. The doorman glanced up and softened his expression like he knew something was wrong but didn't know what to do with it. Ava headed toward the main elevator bank. The man angled toward the front doors. Ava told herself, keep walking. Don't look at him again. Don't create a moment out of nothing. And then he spoke again, like he couldn't let it go. "Do you have somewhere to go tonight?" Ava stopped. She turned, careful, defensive. "Excuse me?" He didn't react to her tone. His face stayed steady. "I heard you. In the corridor." Ava's heart dropped straight into her stomach. "You were listening?" she asked, sharp. "No," he said simply. "I was there. You were talking. I heard 2 sentences." Ava tightened her grip on the box until her arms trembled. "That's not..." He held up one hand slightly, not threatening. "I'm not here to embarrass you, or to pry." Ava stared at him. Up close, his eyes were dark, almost black in the lobby light. His jaw was clean-shaven. His mouth didn't curve into charm. He didn't look like a man who tried to win people. He looked like a man who decided things. "What do you want?" Ava asked. His gaze flicked to the box again, then back to her face. "You look like you're trying to do the strong thing while your body is begging you to sit down." Ava's throat tightened with anger because he was right. He continued, "If you have a place, great. If you don't, I can arrange a car to take you somewhere safe." Ava blinked. "A car?" "Yes." Ava tried to find the trick, the punchline, the hidden camera, the reason a stranger in a black coat would offer her help. "I don't even know your name," she said. He held her gaze. "Damien Russo." The name landed with weight, not because it sounded famous, because it sounded like a name people didn't question. Ava's mind raced. "Okay, Damien Russo, why are you doing this?" He didn't answer right away. He looked at her like he was choosing a truthful sentence. "Because you're leaving," he said. "And I don't like the way you said you have nowhere to go." That should not have hit so hard. Ava felt it in her chest anyway, like her body recognized safety before her brain could argue. "I'm fine," Ava lied automatically. Damien's eyes moved over her quickly, her messy bun, her red-rimmed eyes, the box, the ring she hadn't taken off yet. Then he looked back to her face. "You're not," he said. Not cruel, not pitying, just factual. Ava tried to breathe through the embarrassment. "I have a friend. She's coming." Damien nodded once. "Good. How long will she take?" Ava hesitated. "Traffic," Damien guessed. Ava didn't answer. Damien looked toward the glass doors and the street outside. It was late afternoon. The sky was already turning gray, New York rushing by like it always did, indifferent and loud. "Ava Bennett," Damien said. Ava stiffened. Her eyes snapped back to his face. "How do you know my name?" Damien's expression didn't change, but something in his gaze sharpened, like he realized he'd stepped 1 inch too far. He corrected smoothly. "It was on the label." Ava looked down at the box. There was no label. Her pulse jumped. Damien didn't look away. He didn't smile. He didn't back up. He just waited, like he expected her to decide whether to run or to ask. Before Ava could speak, The lobby doors swung open, and a man walked in with wind-blown hair and a grin that didn't match the tension in Ava's body. He was dressed well, too, but in a way that looked lived in, like he knew how to be rich and still be annoying. He spotted Damien and lifted a hand. "There you are. I've been calling you." Then he noticed Ava, the box, the expression on her face, and immediately slowed down. He pointed at the box gently. "Oh, it's one of those days." Ava stared at him, confused. The man's grin softened. "I'm Noah. Don't worry. Whatever you think is happening, it's probably less dramatic than it looks. Unless Damien's being weird again. Then it's dramatic." "Noah," Damien warned, quiet. Noah held up his hands. I'm done. I'm just saying, if you need a ride, we can get you a ride. If you need food, we have food. If you need to cry, I personally cannot provide that service, but I can get you someone who can." Ava made a sound that surprised her, half laugh, half disbelief. Noah leaned in slightly, lowering his voice like he was telling a secret. "Also, I saw nothing on the floor, not a thing. My eyes are innocent." Ava's face went hot again. "Oh my God." Noah winked. "New York is brutal. We all pretend we didn't see. It's the social contract." Damien's mouth moved, barely. Not a smile, but something close. Ava noticed it anyway. And that was the problem, because her body, traitorous and exhausted, reacted to tiny warmth from a man she didn't know. A man who felt dangerous in a way that had nothing to do with violence and everything to do with control. Ava pulled in a breath, trying to anchor herself. "My friend is coming," she said again, weaker. Noah nodded like he accepted it. "Great. Let's get you out of the lobby anyway. People love to stare in this building. It's like their hobby." Damien looked at Ava. "There's a private lounge on the second floor. You can wait there. No crowd." Ava hesitated, then shook her head. "I'm not going upstairs with strangers." Noah nodded. "Fair." Damien didn't argue. "Then we'll wait in the car outside. You stay in the lobby. If you want the car, it's there. If you don't, it's not." Ava stared at him, trying to make sense of the offer that came with no pressure. "Why are you acting like you can just arrange things?" she asked. Noah answered cheerfully, "Because he can." Damien shot him a look. Noah shrugged. "What? It's true?" Ava's phone buzzed in her hand. A text from Cole. "Where are you?" Then another. "Answer me." Then another. "You're being dramatic. Come home." Ava's throat tightened. She should have been immune to those words by now. She wasn't. Damien's eyes flicked to the screen. He didn't try to grab her phone. He didn't ask to read it. He simply said, "Is he the reason you're holding that box?" Ava didn't answer because if she opened her mouth, she might cry again. Noah cleared his throat, suddenly less playful. "We can block the number," he offered, "or we can handle it another way, peacefully." Ava looked at Damien. "I don't want trouble." Damien nodded once. "Neither do I." That was almost funny, coming from him, because everything about him looked like trouble in a suit. Ava took a slow breath. "Fine," she said quietly. "I'll take the car. Just to somewhere public. I'm not going to a penthouse or anything." Noah made a face. Wow. Calling Damien's home a penthouse like it's a bad word. Damien didn't look at Noah. He looked at Ava. "A hotel then, close to your friend." Ava swallowed. "Okay." Damien turned slightly and made a short call. He spoke low, quick, like this was routine. He didn't use slang. He didn't threaten anyone. He simply gave instructions. Noah leaned closer to Ava and whispered, "He's always like this. Calm, efficient. It's annoying." Ava whispered back without thinking, "You talk too much." Noah's eyes widened, delighted. "Oh, she's got teeth. Damien, did you hear that? She told me I talk too much." Damien's eyes held Ava's for half a second longer than polite. "I heard." Ava's stomach flipped, fast and unfair. The car arrived within minutes, a black sedan pulling up smooth to the curb like it had been waiting. Damien didn't touch Ava, but he held the door while she stepped inside with her box. Noah slid in the front seat like he owned the world. Ava sat in the back and held the box on her lap like armor. The inside of the car smelled clean and warm. Leather, subtle cologne that might have been Damien's or might have been the car itself. Ava's body relaxed a fraction against her will. She looked down, trying not to feel anything, and that's when she saw it. Tucked into the pocket behind the passenger seat was an old laminated visitor badge. Not the kind you got yesterday. The photo was slightly faded, but she recognized the face immediately. Her face. Younger, softer, from years ago. The name printed underneath in bold black letters. Ava Bennett. Ava's breath caught. Her fingers trembled as she slid the badge out. Damien watched her in the rearview mirror. Not surprised, not confused. Like he'd been waiting for this moment. Ava lifted her eyes to his. Her voice came out thin. "This is mine." Damien's stare in the mirror didn't break. His tone stayed steady. "I know." Ava's heart hammered. "Then you lied." Damien's jaw tightened slightly, the first sign of pressure on him. Noah turned around in his seat, eyebrows raised. "Uh-oh." Ava clutched the badge and the box shifted on her lap again, the tape squeaking. "Who are you?" Ava whispered. "And why do you have this?" Damien didn't answer right away. The car began to move, pulling into New York traffic like nothing in Ava's life had just cracked open. Then Damien finally spoke, low, controlled, and uncomfortably honest. "Ava," he said, "if I tell you the truth right now, you might not stay in this car." Ava's fingers tightened around the badge, and for the first time since she picked up that box, she wasn't thinking about Cole. She was thinking about the man in the front seat, who had been watching her long before today. The car moved through Manhattan traffic like it belonged there, smooth and unquestioned, slipping between lanes as Ava sat rigid in the back seat, with the visitor badge clenched in her hand. No one spoke for several blocks. New York blurred past the window. Storefronts, yellow taxis, people rushing with purpose, while Ava's thoughts tangled tighter with every second. Her name. Her face. Laminated. Old. Kept. She broke first. "You said you'd only heard 2 sentences," Ava said, her voice steady only because she forced it to be. Damien didn't turn around. His eyes stayed on the road, dark and focused. "That part was true." Ava swallowed. "Then explain why you have something that belongs to me." Noah shifted in the front seat, suddenly very interested in the skyline. "I'm going to pretend I'm not here," he muttered. Damien exhaled slowly, like a man choosing patience. "That badge is from Grant and Holloway Holdings. You worked there 6 years ago." Ava stiffened. "For 3 months, as a temp." "Yes." Her pulse jumped. "I didn't even work on your floor." "No," Damien agreed. "You didn't." Ava stared at the badge. The memory surfaced whether she wanted it or not. Long days, borrowed blazers, coffee runs, quiet lunches eaten alone. A place where she'd been forgettable by design. "Then why do you have it?" she asked again. The car slowed at a light. Damien finally met her eyes in the mirror. "Because you did something that day most people wouldn't have," he said. Ava frowned. "I filed invoices." "No," Damien said. "You helped my mother." The word landed softly. "Mother." Ava blinked. What?" Damien's jaw shifted. "She was visiting the building. She got turned around in the lobby. Someone snapped at her. She dropped her purse." Ava's breath caught as the memory sharpened. A woman with silver hair, elegant coat, shaky hands, papers scattered on marble. "I picked it up," Ava said automatically. "Anyone would have." Damien's eyes stayed on hers. "No, most people walked around her." Ava remembered kneeling, smoothing papers, offering water, walking her to the right elevator because her ankle hurt. Remembered how the woman had squeezed her hand and said thank you like it mattered. "She waited in my office afterward," Damien continued. and told me about the young woman who stopped what she was doing to help her. She remembered your name." Ava's throat tightened. "That doesn't explain keeping my badge." "It does," Damien said quietly. "To me." The light turned green. The car moved again. Noah cleared his throat. "In his defense, my mother collects porcelain cats. This could have been worse." "Not helping," Damien said. Ava barely heard them. Her chest felt strange, too tight, too open. "You've been watching me?" she asked. Damien didn't deny it. "From a distance. That's not comforting." "I know." Ava let out a shaky breath. "So you just kept track of my life?" "No," Damien said. "I kept track of one thing, whether you were okay." Ava laughed softly, incredulous. "You don't even know me." Damien's gaze softened, just a fraction. "I know enough to know you stayed with a man who didn't deserve you." Ava's laughter died. "You don't know anything about my marriage." "I know what I saw," Damien replied. "And what I didn't." Ava's fingers curled around the badge. "Which is?" "I never once saw you be selfish." The words hit harder than any accusation ever had. Silence settled again, thicker now, heavier with meaning. The car pulled up in front of a boutique hotel near Madison Avenue. Warm lights glowed behind tall glass windows. It looked safe, neutral, real. Damien turned in his seat slightly. "This is as far as I go tonight." Ava frowned. "You're not coming in." "No." She studied him, searching for pressure, expectation, hidden demand. There was none. "You're just leaving me here," she said. "Yes." Noah twisted around, grinning. "He's very big on consent. It's his thing." Damien shot him a look. Ava surprised herself by smiling faintly. Damien opened his door and stepped out, moving around to hers. He didn't reach for her box. He didn't touch her arm. He simply held the door and waited. Ava stepped onto the sidewalk, the cold air grounding her. Damien met her eyes. "Your friend will meet you here?" "Yes." "Good." Ava hesitated. "And if she doesn't?" "Then you call me," Damien said, handing her a card. Simple. No title. Just a name and number. Ava took it, her fingers brushing his. Heat shot up her arm before she could stop it. Damien noticed. He always noticed. His voice dropped. "Ava, I didn't plan to meet you like this." Her pulse skipped. "You plan to meet me at all?" He paused, just long enough to be honest. "I hoped I wouldn't have to." Ava stared at him, heart pounding. "Why?" "Because it meant something went wrong," Damien said. Ava's phone buzzed. "Mia, I'm outside." Relief flooded her so fast she nearly swayed. Ava looked back up. "She's here." Damien nodded. "Good." She should have walked away then. Instead, she said, "You didn't answer my question." Damien waited. "Why keep the badge?" she asked. His gaze held hers unflinching. "Because it reminded me that kindness exists even when power forgets it." Ava swallowed. "That's a lot to put on a stranger." Damien's mouth curved slightly. "You stopped being a stranger the day you helped my mother." Ava didn't know what to say to that. Mia's car pulled up to the curb, horn tapping impatiently. Ava backed away a step, then another. "Thank you," she said, meaning more than she could explain. Damien inclined his head. "Get some rest." She turned, then stopped. "Damien?" "Yes." "Are you dangerous?" Noah snorted from the sidewalk. "Define dangerous." Damien's eyes stayed on Ava. "Only to people who mistake kindness for weakness." Ava nodded slowly, heart racing in a way that had nothing to do with fear. She climbed into Mia's car, the door closing with a solid click. As the car pulled away, Ava looked back. Damien was still standing there, hands in his coat pockets, watching her leave like he wasn't done yet. And the thought that settled in her chest, uninvited and undeniable, was this. Whatever she had just stepped into, it wasn't over. It was only just beginning. Ava didn't sleep. She lay on her side in the hotel bed, staring at the faint glow of the city slipping through the curtains. The sounds of New York humming below like it always did. Sirens far away, a horn that lingered too long, laughter from someone who hadn't just packed their life into a box. Mia was asleep in the other bed, one arm thrown over her face, breathing slow and steady. Ava envied her for that. She closed her eyes and immediately saw Damien's face. Not the composed version in the lobby. The other one. The one in the rearview mirror when he'd said her name like it mattered. Ava rolled onto her back and let out a quiet breath. "You are not doing this," she whispered to the ceiling. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Ava froze. She reached for it, heart already racing, and relaxed slightly when she saw the name. Unknown number. Her thumb hovered. She knew exactly who it was. She stared at the screen for a long second, then unlocked it. "Damien. Did you get inside safely?" Ava swallowed. The simplicity of the question did something to her chest. "Ava. Yes, thank you." 3 dots appeared almost immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. "Damien. Good, get some rest, that was it. No pressure, no late-night confession, no thinking of you." Ava stared at the message longer than necessary. She typed, deleted, typed again. "Ava. Why are you still awake?" The reply came slower this time. "Damien. I don't sleep much." Ava hesitated, then asked the question that had been circling her mind since the car. "Ava. Because of work?" The dots appeared, paused. "Damien. Because of responsibility." Ava didn't know what to say to that. She locked the phone and placed it face down, like if she couldn't see it, the feeling would fade. It didn't. The next morning came too bright and too fast. Mia woke up energized and angry, which was her preferred emotional combination. "I swear to God, Ava," Mia said while brushing her teeth, "if I ever see Cole again, I'm throwing a latte at him. Hot, no lid." Ava sat on the edge of the bed, twisting the hotel robe belt between her fingers. "Please don't get arrested on my behalf." "Worth it." Ava smiled weakly. "I have to go back to the apartment today." Mia stopped brushing. "No. I need clothes, documents, my laptop." Mia pointed her toothbrush like a weapon. "We go together." Ava nodded. "Together." Her phone buzzed again. She glanced at the screen. "Damien. I can send someone with you." Ava stared at the message, heart jumping uninvited. She typed back carefully. "Ava. I'll be with a friend. I don't want this to be complicated." The reply was immediate. "Damien. Understood." Then a second message followed. "Damien. If it changes, you know where to find me." Ava pressed the phone to her chest for half a second before she could stop herself. Mia noticed. "Oh no," Mia said slowly. "Who is that?" Ava exhaled. "The man from last night." "The hot one?" "Yes." "The suspiciously calm one?" "Yes." "The one who absolutely sounds like trouble wrapped in manners?" Ava sighed. "Yes." Mia grinned. "I like him already." The apartment felt different in daylight. Too clean, too quiet, too full of memories Ava hadn't realized were already gone. Cole wasn't there. That almost made it worse. Ava moved through the space methodically, folding clothes, pulling drawers open, stacking things into boxes without sitting down long enough to feel. Mia hovered like a guard dog. "Take the good towels," Mia said. "He doesn't deserve them." Ava huffed a quiet laugh. "They're just towels." "Luxury towels," Mia corrected. "Emotional support towels." Ava bent to grab a box from the closet, and that's when she saw it. An envelope tucked behind a shoebox, her name on the front. Not in Cole's handwriting. Her stomach tightened. "Ava?" Mia said gently. "What is it?" Ava slid the envelope out and opened it. Inside was a copy of a document, legal-looking, official. Her eyes skimmed the page, then went back to the top. She frowned. "Mia, this doesn't make sense." Mia leaned in. "What am I looking at?" "A trust," Ava said slowly, "with my name on it." Mia blinked. "A trust like money trust?" Ava's pulse began to pound. "It says beneficiary, partial ownership. But I never... She flipped the page. Her hands started to shake. This was amended 2 years ago, Ava whispered. Cole's signature is on it. Mia's face hardened. He never told you? Ava shook her head. He never told me anything. Her phone buzzed. Ava didn't need to look to know. She stepped into the kitchen, away from Mia, and answered. Damien, she said quietly. I was just about to call you, Damien replied. His voice was calm, but there was something tighter beneath it. Are you at the apartment? Yes. Is he there? No. Ava swallowed. Damien, I found something. There was a pause on the line, not confusion, recognition. What did you find? He asked. A document with my name on it. Silence stretched. Then Damien spoke carefully. Did you know about it? No. Another pause. Where is it? He asked. In my hands. Good, Damien said. Don't leave it there. Ava's heart raced. What is it? A problem, Damien said. One I was hoping you wouldn't have to see yet. Ava leaned against the counter, breath shallow. You knew? Yes. You were going to tell me? Yes. When? After you felt steady, Damien said. Not while you were still bleeding. Ava closed her eyes. Damien, she whispered. What did he do? He tried to protect himself. Damien replied. Poorly. Ava laughed once, sharp and disbelieving. From me? No, Damien said. From what you represent. Ava's chest tightened. Which is? Ownership, Damien said. And leverage. Ava felt the room tilt. I don't understand. You will, Damien said gently. Just not alone. Mia appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. Do I need to pack a weapon? Damien heard her voice and huffed something close to a laugh. Your friend sounds fierce. She is, Ava said automatically. Good, Damien replied. You shouldn't do this without backup. Ava's voice trembled despite her effort. Are you telling me my husband married me because of this? No, Damien said. I'm telling you he stayed because of it. Ava's throat burned. Come see me, Damien continued. Today, somewhere neutral. We'll talk. I'll explain everything I can. Ava hesitated. Mia comes with me. Of course, Damien said without missing a beat. Ava closed her eyes, relief flooding her. Okay, she said. Where? Chelsea, Damien replied. A place I trust. The cafe Damien chose wasn't flashy. Exposed brick. Warm lighting. Real pastries behind glass. The kind of place people went to talk, not to be seen. Damien was already there when Ava arrived. He stood as soon as he saw her, eyes scanning her face like he was checking for damage. She noticed. Mia noticed too. Mia leaned close and whispered, Oh, he's attentive. That's dangerous. Ava shot her a look. Damien greeted them politely, nodding to Mia. Thank you for being here. Mia smiled sweetly. You seem useful. Damien's mouth twitched. They sat. Damien waited until Ava took a sip of coffee before speaking. Tell me exactly what you found, he said. Ava slid the document across the table. Damien glanced at it, then nodded. That's what I thought. Ava clenched her hands together. Explain, please. Slowly. Damien leaned back slightly, keeping his voice low. Your father invested in a property years ago, he said. Minority stake. He passed before it became relevant. The trust named you as beneficiary. Ava stared at him. I didn't know that. Your husband did, Damien said. Eventually. Mia swore under her breath. He tried to move the asset quietly. Damien continued. Not steal it outright, just control it. He needed your signature for certain changes. And when I wouldn't sign, Ava said softly, understanding dawning, he cheated. Yes, Damien said. He wanted you distracted. Guilty. Small. Ava's chest hurt. Mia leaned forward, eyes sharp. So where do you fit into this? Damien met her gaze. That property intersects with my business. Ava stiffened. You're Mafia. Damien didn't flinch. I manage a network of companies that started in places people like to romanticize. It's legal now, it's clean, but the name sticks. Ava studied him. And you knew about me because your name kept coming up in paperwork you never signed, Damien said. Because I don't like invisible partners. Ava laughed softly, bitter. Seems to be a theme. Damien's gaze softened. I noticed you long before this. Ava felt heat rise to her cheeks. You watched me? Yes, Damien said calmly. From afar, without interference, until last night. Mia crossed her arms. You understand how that sounds? I do, Damien replied, which is why I never approached her while she was married. Ava's heart skipped. Damien turned his attention fully to her. You didn't belong to me. You still don't. The words wrapped around her like something solid. So, what happens now? Ava asked quietly. Now, Damien said. You decide. Ava shook her head. I don't know how. Damien leaned in just enough that she felt the gravity of him, not the pressure. Then let me help you understand your options, he said. Not as leverage, not as obligation, as information. Ava searched his face. What do you want from me? She asked. Damien didn't answer right away. I want you safe, he said finally. I want you free. And if, after that, you still want to walk away from me? He paused. I'll let you. Ava's heart pounded. Mia stood abruptly. I'm getting another coffee. She walked away, leaving silence behind. Ava's voice came out softer. You're not supposed to be this decent. Damien's lips curved slightly. I get that a lot. Ava took a breath. I don't know what I feel yet. That's fine, Damien said. We're not in a hurry. His phone buzzed on the table. He glanced at the screen and stilled. Ava noticed immediately. What is it? Damien locked the phone. Your husband. Ava's stomach dropped. What does he want? Damien met her eyes. He knows you're not alone anymore. Ava's pulse spiked. How? Because he just asked me to convince you to come back. Ava stared at him, breath catching. And what did you say? She asked. Damien's voice was calm, deadly calm. I said no. Ava felt something shift inside her, fear, relief, desire, all colliding at once. Damien leaned back, gaze steady on hers. And Ava, he added quietly. He's not going to like that. Ava didn't answer right away. The cafe felt smaller than it had a minute earlier, the low hum of conversation fading into background noise as Damien's last words settled between them. He's not going to like that. Ava wrapped both hands around her coffee cup, even though it had gone lukewarm. I don't want you dealing with him for me, she said carefully. Damien didn't argue. I didn't deal with him for you. Ava lifted her eyes. Then why? Because he asked me to cross a line, Damien replied. And I don't do that. Her pulse quickened. You didn't threaten him? No. Did you warn him? Damien's mouth curved faintly. I reminded him of reality. Ava exhaled slowly. That sounds like a threat. It isn't, Damien said. It's clarity. Ava studied him, searching for cracks. She found none. Whatever he wasn't impulsive. That was somehow more unsettling and more reassuring than anger would have been. Mia returned with her coffee and dropped into the chair. I assume something dramatic just happened because your faces look like a paused movie scene. Ava nodded. Cole contacted Damien. Mia blinked. Your ex contacted the Mafia boss. Soon-to-be ex. Ava corrected automatically. Mia stared at Damien. And you told him? No, Damien said calmly. Mia grinned. I like that answer. Ava shot her a look. This isn't funny. It is a little, Mia said, in a cosmic justice way. Damien checked his watch. We should leave soon. I don't want you lingering in one place. Ava stiffened. I'm not hiding. I know, Damien said gently. But today has been a lot. He stood, signaling the end of the conversation without pushing it. Ava noticed how easily people around them made space for him without realizing why. Outside, the city was louder, brighter. Life didn't pause for revelations. Damien walked them toward the curb, where a car was already waiting. Ava stopped. "I thought you said neutral." "It is," Damien replied. "Public, open, and I trust the driver." Mia raised an eyebrow. "Do I trust the driver?" "Yes." "Good enough." Inside the car, Ava sat across from Damien this time, Mia between them like a human buffer who pretended not to notice the tension. The ride was quiet, not awkward, intentional. Ava watched Damien's hands when he rested them on his knees. Strong, still, no restless energy. It made her aware of her own fidgeting. "You don't have to come with me everywhere," she said suddenly. Damien looked up. "I know. But you're doing it anyway." "Yes." Ava frowned. "Why?" "Because you asked me to explain things slowly," Damien said. "And because right now you shouldn't be alone unless you want to be." The "unless you want to be" mattered. They stopped in front of a brownstone on a quiet street, sunlight slanting across the stoop. Mia leaned forward. "What is this?" "A place you can stay," Damien said to Ava, "for as long as you want." Ava stared. "This is too much." "It's empty," Damien said. "I don't live here." "Why do you own it?" He shrugged slightly. "Because New York is unpredictable." Mia leaned close and whispered loudly, "If he says panic room, I'm out." Damien's lips twitched. "No panic room." Ava hesitated, then nodded. "Okay, just for tonight." Inside, the place was warm and simple. Clean lines, soft light, no personal photos, no signs of someone trying to impress. Ava set her bag down and let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. Mia looked around. "I approve. It feels like a place where people heal." Damien nodded. "I'll leave you both to it." Ava turned. "You're leaving?" "Yes." Her chest tightened unexpectedly. "Already?" Damien met her eyes, something unreadable passing through them. "You need space to think." "And you?" Ava asked quietly. "I'm never far," he said. Mia cleared her throat. "I should probably go too. I'll come back later." Ava frowned. "You don't have to." "I do," Mia said softly. "This part, you need to do it yourself." She hugged Ava tightly, then gave Damien a look that was half warning, half gratitude. "Don't mess this up." Damien inclined his head. "I don't plan to." When they were alone, silence filled the room. Not heavy, charged. Ava wandered toward the window, staring out at the street below. "You could have used what you know against him," she said. "You didn't." "I won't," Damien replied, "unless you ask me to." Ava turned. "And if I never ask?" "Then I never will." She studied him. "Why does it feel like you're giving me power I didn't know I had?" "Because you've always had it," Damien said simply. "You just weren't told." Her throat tightened. "I don't know how to be this person." "You don't have to change," Damien said. "Just stop shrinking." The words landed deep. Ava stepped closer without realizing it. The space between them narrowed until she was aware of his heat, his presence, the faint scent of cologne. "You're very controlled," she said softly. "Yes. What happens when you lose control?" Damien's gaze darkened, not dangerous but honest. "I make sure it's with someone who trusts me." Ava's breath hitched. She hadn't planned to reach for him. Her hand moved on instinct, fingers brushing his sleeve. The contact sent a jolt through her. Damien didn't move. He waited. Ava looked up at him, heart pounding. "If I ask you to leave right now, will you?" "Yes." "If I ask you to stay?" "Yes." The choice sat heavy and exhilarating in her chest. She swallowed. Then, "Stay." Damien's hand came up slowly, stopping inches from her face. He paused, eyes searching hers for certainty. Ava nodded. His fingers brushed her cheek, gentle, reverent. The touch was intimate without being rushed. When he kissed her, it wasn't desperate. It was warm, deliberate. like he wanted her to feel every second. Ava melted into it, the last of her defenses slipping away. The kiss deepened, hands finding waist and shoulders, breath mingling. Desire curled low in her stomach, surprising her with its intensity. Damien pulled back first, forehead resting against hers. "Tell me to stop," he murmured. Ava shook her head. "Don't." His breath was warm against her skin. "This doesn't obligate you to anything." "I know," she said. "That's why I want it." They kissed again, slower this time, savoring. Eventually, Damien stepped back, creating space before it tipped into something too fast. Ava felt the loss immediately. "I should go," he said quietly. Her heart jumped. "Why?" "Because tonight should end with you feeling safe," Damien said, not overwhelmed. She nodded, even though part of her wanted to protest. At the door, Damien turned. "He'll try again." Ava's jaw set. "Let him." Damien's gaze held pride. "I'll see you tomorrow." As the door closed behind him, Ava leaned against it, heart racing, body alive in a way it hadn't been in years. She slid down to the floor, hugging her knees. For the first time since she picked up that box, the question in her mind wasn't, "What did I lose?" It was, "What am I becoming?" And somewhere across the city, Damien Russo sat in his car, jaw tight, knowing one thing with absolute certainty. Falling for Ava Bennett was no longer optional, and neither was protecting her from what was coming next. Ava woke with her heart still racing, as if her body had been living a different life while she slept. The brownstone was quiet in a way that didn't feel lonely. It felt protected. The air smelled faintly like clean linen and coffee, and for a moment she forgot she was supposed to be scared of her own future. Then her phone buzzed. Her eyes snapped open. She reached for it too fast, already bracing for Cole's name. But it wasn't Cole. "Damien. Coffee should be ready. If it isn't, I'm officially disappointed in myself." Ava blinked, then sat up, a laugh slipping out before she could stop it. She swung her feet to the floor and padded into the kitchen in Damien's oversized sweatshirt, the one he'd tossed at her last night when she'd shivered by the door, pretending she wasn't. The machine was already warm. She poured a cup and took a sip. It was exactly the way she liked it. Not sweet, not complicated, just right. Her chest tightened in an annoying, emotional way. She glanced at the phone again. "Ava." "It's perfect. You can keep your record." 3 dots appeared. "Damien." "Good." "I'd hate to start failing now." Ava smiled down at the screen, then caught herself. Her smile faded as another buzz hit her phone. Different thread. "Cole." "Where are you?" Ava stared at the message, coffee cup hovering near her mouth. The warmth in her hands didn't help the cold that spread through her stomach. Another message. "Cole. This is childish. Answer me." Then another. "Cole. You're embarrassing yourself." Ava closed her eyes. She felt that familiar pull, the old habit of responding fast, smoothing things over, apologizing for his discomfort. Her thumb hovered. Then she put the phone face down like it was a bad habit she was quitting. "No," she whispered, more to herself than anyone. "Not today." She showered slowly, letting the water steady her. She dried her hair and dressed in clothes that felt like her again. Dark jeans, a soft-fitted sweater, boots that made her stand taller without trying. She didn't put on makeup to look fine. She put on lip balm because her lips were dry and she was done performing. When she stepped back into the living room, she noticed a small paper bag on the console table by the door. A bakery logo. A short note in neat handwriting. "Eat. You forget when you're stressed. D." Ava stared at it, throat tight, then rolled her eyes at her own feelings like that would fix it. She opened the bag, a warm cinnamon roll. She took one bite and immediately made an involuntary sound of approval. "Okay," she muttered. "That's unfair." Her phone buzzed again. "Damien, I'll see you in 1 hour. We need to talk in person." Ava's pulse jumped. "Ava, about what?" This time the reply came slower, like he wanted it to land right. Damien. About what your husband tried to do this morning. The cinnamon roll suddenly tasted like nothing. Ava grabbed her coat and keys. She hesitated at the door, then typed, Ava. Mia is coming with me. Damien. Good. Ava stared at that one word. No jealousy, no pushback, no tension, just approval like it was obvious. It made her chest do that annoying thing again. Mia arrived 20 minutes later, like she was on a mission. She stormed in with her hair in a messy bun, sunglasses on even though they were indoors, and a tote bag that looked heavy enough to be full of bricks. Ava raised an eyebrow. What is that? Mia slid the tote bag onto the couch with a dramatic thud. Emergency supplies. Ava blinked. For what? Mia opened the bag and started pulling things out. Lip gloss, snacks, tissues, a charger, pepper spray. Ava stared. Pepper spray. Mia held it up proudly. It's small, it's legal, and it makes me feel powerful. Ava sighed. Mia, I'm kidding, Mia said quickly. Mostly. It's for random men, not for, what's his name? Ava didn't even have to ask. Mia leaned in, eyes glittering. So, did you kiss him? Ava's face went hot instantly. Why are you like this? Mia gasped, delighted. You did? Ava walked past her toward the door. Put the pepper spray away. Mia grabbed her tote and followed, grinning. I knew it. I knew you weren't dead inside. It was just coal. Ava stopped in the hallway and pointed at Mia. Say his name one more time and I'm leaving you here. Mia lifted both hands. Okay, sorry. I'm just happy you're feeling something besides numb. Ava swallowed. I don't even know what I feel. Mia softened. That's fine. Just don't let fear decide for you. Ava nodded, then opened the door. Outside, a black sedan waited at the curb like it belonged to Damien's world. A driver stepped out politely, holding the door. Ava slid in first. Mia climbed in behind her and immediately looked around like she was inspecting a hotel room. Nice, Mia whispered. This man is either extremely organized or extremely dangerous. Ava shot her a look. Mia shrugged. Both can be true. The car rolled through Manhattan, past storefronts and busy sidewalks, the city moving like nothing had changed, even though Ava felt like her life was split into before and after. Mia leaned close. Where are we going? Ava glanced at her phone. He said Riverside Park. Mia's eyes widened. Public. Daytime. He's doing it right. Ava exhaled slowly. Stop evaluating him like a product. Mia leaned back. I'm not. I'm evaluating him like a man who might break your heart. I need to know if I should be polite or scary. Ava couldn't help it. She laughed quietly. Mia patted her knee. There she is. Damien was waiting near a quiet path by the river, coat open, hands in his pockets, like he'd been standing there long enough to let the air calm him first. When he saw Ava, his eyes locked on her, not in a possessive way, in a checking for harm way. Ava hated how safe that made her feel. Damien greeted her with a simple nod, then looked to Mia. Thank you for coming. Mia's lips curved. I'm here to keep her from making stupid choices. Damien's mouth twitched. Good. I'm here to keep her from dealing with other people's stupid choices. Mia paused, then smiled like she respected that. Okay, we can coexist. They sat on a bench facing the water. The air was cold but bright, the river moving slow and heavy. Ava didn't wait. What did he do? She asked. Damien's gaze stayed calm, but something in his jaw tightened. He tried to freeze the trust. Ava's stomach dropped. How? I didn't sign anything. He filed an emergency request, Damien said. He's trying to argue that you're unstable and being influenced. Mia made a choking sound. Unstable? She alphabetizes spices. Ava looked at Mia, startled, then couldn't help a short laugh. Damien glanced at Ava like he was relieved to see it. Exactly. Ava swallowed. Can he win? No, Damien said immediately. Ava searched his face. How do you know? Because the trust was created legally, and he doesn't have the authority to override it. Damien replied. He's trying to buy time, create noise, make you doubt yourself. Ava's throat tightened. Why does he care now? Damien leaned back slightly, voice steady. Because you stopped answering. Because you left. And because someone told him you're not alone anymore. Ava's pulse jumped. Did he contact you again? Yes, Damien said. Mia leaned forward, eyes sharp. And? He asked me to convince her to come back, Damien replied simply. Ava's stomach twisted. What did you say? Damien's gaze met hers. No. It was one word. It felt like a wall. Ava swallowed hard. He's going to blame you. I can live with that, Damien said calmly. Ava frowned. You don't even know me well enough to choose this level of inconvenience. Mia coughed. Inconvenience. That's adorable. Ava shot her a look. Damien's expression stayed steady. I know enough. Ava's voice softened despite her attempt to keep it sharp. What if this becomes messy? Damien held her gaze. Then we clean it up, quietly. Mia narrowed her eyes. No illegal stuff. Damien's mouth curved faintly. I'm offended you think I'd risk her peace. Ava stared at him. You keep saying peace like you understand it. Damien's gaze lowered for a moment, then returned to her face. I understand the lack of it. Something in his voice made Ava's chest ache. She looked away toward the water. I'm tired, she admitted. Damien's voice dropped slightly. I know. Ava's fingers curled in her lap. I hate that he's still pulling strings. He's trying, Damien corrected. It only works if you let it. Ava nodded slowly. Mia tapped Ava's knee lightly. You're doing great. Ava blinked at her friend. You're being nice. That's suspicious. Mia smiled sweetly. Don't get used to it. Damien's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then locked the screen again. Ava noticed immediately. What now? Damien's jaw tightened. He's escalating. Ava's breath caught. How? He called my attorney again, Damien said. He offered a deal. Ava frowned. A deal? Damien's gaze stayed on hers. He wants you back, publicly. He thinks if you return, it proves you were wrong to leave. And if you look reasonable, he can push you to sign quietly later. Ava's stomach turned. He's insane. Mia scoffed. He's not insane. He's predictable. Ava swallowed. What did you tell your attorney? Damien's voice was calm. That we don't negotiate with manipulation. Ava stared at him, heartbeat loud. We? Damien paused, then corrected gently. You, your attorney, whoever you choose. I'm not claiming you. Ava's cheeks warmed. Mia raised her eyebrows like she was proud. Ava cleared her throat. I don't have an attorney yet. You do now, Damien said, and before Ava could protest, he added, I arranged a consultation. No obligation, just information. Ava's chest tightened. You keep arranging things. Damien nodded once. I do. But you decide what you accept. Ava exhaled slowly, trying to keep her emotions under control. I don't want to owe you. Damien's gaze softened. You don't. Ava looked at him, voice smaller than she meant. Then why are you doing all this? Damien didn't answer fast. He looked away toward the river, then back to her like he was choosing the cleanest truth. Because I know what it looks like when someone's kindness gets used against them, he said. And because I don't want that to happen to you again. Ava's throat tightened. You can't stop everything. No, Damien agreed. But I can stop some things. Mia leaned back, watching them like she was trying not to smile. I'm going to pretend I'm checking emails so you two can have your intense moment. Ava huffed a laugh. Mia! Mia waved her phone. I'm here. I'm just giving air. Damien's gaze stayed on Ava. Do you want to talk to him? He asked. Ava stiffened. Cole? Damien nodded. If you want closure, I'll be here. If you don't, I'll still be here. Ava swallowed hard. Part of her wanted to keep hiding behind silence. Another part, new, louder, wanted to end it. She took out her phone. Her hands shook slightly as she called. Cole picked up on the second ring like he'd been waiting. "Ava," Cole said, voice smooth and warm like nothing happened. "Finally." Ava's jaw tightened. "Stop texting me." Cole sighed as if she was the problem. "I'm trying to fix this." "You're trying to control this," Ava replied. Cole chuckled. "Listen to you. You sound like you've been coached." Ava's stomach twisted. She glanced at Damien, who was still focused, patient. He didn't look angry. He looked ready. "I sound like someone who finally sees you clearly," Ava said. Cole's tone sharpened. "Where are you?" Ava's heart pounded. "That's none of your business." "It is my business," Cole snapped. "You're my wife." Ava's voice went cold. "No, I'm the woman you ignored until she left." Silence. Then Cole tried a softer voice, the one he used when he wanted something. "Ava, come home. We can talk. We can work this out." Ava's chest tightened. "Work what out? Your affair?" "It was a mistake," Cole said quickly. "It meant nothing." Ava's laugh was quiet and bitter. "That's not the comforting sentence you think it is." Cole exhaled. "Okay, I messed up. But you're being dramatic. You don't understand what's at stake." Ava's fingers tightened around her phone. "I understand you hid legal documents from me." Cole went silent again, then colder. "Who told you about that?" Ava's heart thudded. She didn't want to say Damien's name, not because she was protecting Damien, because she didn't want Cole anywhere near this. But Damien leaned slightly closer, not touching her, and spoke calmly, clearly, into the air, not into the phone. "He's already near it." His presence seemed to say, "Don't carry this alone." Ava took a breath. "Someone who respects me," she repeated. Cole scoffed. "Oh, I get it. You're playing a game now." Ava's voice steadied. "This isn't a game. This is my life." Cole's tone shifted again, sharp and threatening without raising volume. "You think that man is going to stay? Men like him don't stay when things get inconvenient." Ava's stomach flipped with a flash of fear. Damien's gaze held hers, steady as a hand on her back. Ava spoke before she could overthink it. "He doesn't need to stay for me to leave you." Cole's breath hissed. "So you admit he's involved?" Ava's jaw tightened. "I admit you're not." Cole's voice dropped, dangerous in its calm. "If you walk away, you're going to regret it." Ava's heart pounded. "Are you threatening me?" Cole laughed softly. "Don't be dramatic." Ava's hand trembled. She hated how familiar that sentence was. Then Damien spoke, finally, his voice low and even. "She asked you a direct question," Damien said. "Answer it." Cole went silent. Ava's breath caught. "Who is this?" Cole demanded. Damien didn't raise his voice. He didn't posture. He simply spoke like a man who never had to. "Someone who sees what you're doing," Damien replied. Cole's tone turned sharp with panic masked as anger. "Stay out of my marriage." Damien's gaze never left Ava. "It ended when you decided lying was easier than honoring her." Ava's throat tightened, eyes burning. She took the phone back fully. "Do not contact me again," she said. "Any communication goes through an attorney." Cole tried to speak, but Ava ended the call. Her hand shook as she lowered the phone. For a moment she just sat there, breathing, as if she'd jumped from a height and was waiting to feel the impact. Mia looked up from her phone. "You did it." Ava swallowed, voice thin. "I did." Damien watched Ava carefully. "How do you feel?" Ava blinked, then laughed once, shaky. "Like I need a nap and a new nervous system." Mia nodded. "Valid." Damien's mouth curved slightly. "We can arrange the nap." Ava looked at him, surprised by the humor in his eyes. "Is that your solution to everything?" "Not everything," Damien said, "but it's a good start." Mia stood. "I'm going to walk 10 feet away so you two can do whatever intense eye contact thing you keep doing." Ava sighed. "Mia." Mia waved her hand. "I'm still here. I'm just not in the middle of whatever this is." Ava watched Mia step away, then turned back to Damien. "You shouldn't have said that to him," Ava murmured. Damien's gaze softened. You shouldn't have had to. Ava's throat tightened. I don't want you dragged into my mess. Damien's eyes darkened, not with anger, but with something deeper. Ava, I was already in it the moment I heard your voice in that corridor. Ava's breath caught. You keep saying that like it meant something. It did, Damien said quietly. Ava swallowed. Why? Damien held her gaze. Because you sounded like someone who had been strong for too long with no reward. Ava's eyes burned. She looked down fast, embarrassed by how close she was to tears again. Damien didn't touch her. He didn't rush. He just waited, like he respected her pride. Ava took a breath and forced herself to look back up. I don't know what I'm doing, she admitted. Damien's voice dropped, gentle. Then let's not name it yet. Ava's pulse jumped. What does that mean? It means we take 1 hour at a time, Damien said. 1 decision at a time. Ava stared at him. You're good at making chaos feel small. I'm good at making room for people to breathe, Damien corrected. Ava's voice softened. Do you always talk like you're trying to make someone feel safe? Damien's mouth twitched. No. Just me? She asked before she could stop herself. Damien's gaze held hers. Yes. Ava's chest tightened so sharply she had to look away again. Mia called from a few steps away. Okay, I'm back. Are we about to cry or kiss? I need to emotionally prepare. Ava groaned. Neither. Mia raised an eyebrow. Liar. Damien stood and offered Ava his hand. Not grabbing, just offering. Ava hesitated only a second before placing her hand in his. His palm was warm, steady. He didn't squeeze too tight. He didn't pull. He simply held her like it was normal. The contact sent a slow, warm heat up Ava's arm. Mia watched, eyes widening slightly, then muttered, Oh, that's actually kind of beautiful. I hate it. Ava laughed despite herself. They started walking along the path by the river. The wind tugged Ava's hair loose, strands brushing her cheek. Damien lifted a hand and gently tucked one strand behind her ear, a quick, careful motion that made her whole body respond. Ava's breath caught. Damien lowered his hand immediately, like he didn't want to assume. But Ava leaned slightly closer without thinking. Damien noticed. His gaze dipped to her mouth, then back to her eyes. Ava's pulse hammered. Mia, walking on Ava's other side, said too loudly, If you two kiss in public, I'm taking a picture for your future wedding slideshow. Ava choked. Mia! Damien's mouth curved. She's committed. Mia beamed. I am. They reached a quieter spot near a small set of steps that led down closer to the water. Ava stopped, staring at the river. I feel lighter, she admitted. Damien stood beside her, close enough that she felt his heat without being crowded. You cut a string. Ava nodded slowly. I didn't realize how many strings he still had. Damien's voice lowered. He'll try more. Ava's stomach tightened. What else can he do? Damien's jaw tightened slightly. He can try to embarrass you. Mia's head snapped up. Embarrass how? Damien's eyes scanned the path briefly, like a habit. Public narratives, lies, convenient stories. Ava's throat tightened. Like I'm unstable. Yes, Damien said. Or unfaithful. Or irresponsible. Ava's breath caught, fear creeping in. Damien's voice stayed calm. But it only works if you believe it. Ava stared at him. What if other people believe it? Damien's gaze held hers. Then they're not your people. That sentence landed like a door closing on an old life. Ava swallowed. I want to be done. You will be, Damien said. Soon. Ava looked at him, voice quiet. Promise? Damien didn't say yes too fast. He said it like a vow. I promise you'll get your life back, he said, and you'll choose what to do with it. Ava's eyes burned again. She hated how close she was to crying. Mia cleared her throat loudly. Okay. I'm going to say something unromantic to balance the emotional atmosphere. I'm hungry. Ava laughed. Of course you are. Mia pointed at Damien. Is there food involved in your plan? Damien nodded once. Always. Mia gasped. Perfect. I knew I liked you. They walked back toward the street. Damien opened the car door for Ava again, careful, polite. Ava slid in and Mia followed. As the car pulled away, Ava finally let herself lean back against the seat. For the first time in days, she felt like she could breathe. Then Damien's phone buzzed again. He glanced at it. This time, his expression didn't tighten. It froze. Ava noticed immediately. What? Damien locked the screen. His jaw flexed once. Mia leaned forward. What happened? Damien's voice was calm, but the calm was different now. Sharper. Someone is watching, he said. Ava's stomach dropped. Who? Damien's gaze shifted toward the window, scanning the sidewalk as the car moved. A man took a photo of you near the river. Ava's pulse spiked. A photo? Mia's face went pale. Like paparazzi? Damien shook his head slightly. Not media. Ava's voice went thin. Then who? Damien met Ava's eyes, and for the first time since she'd met him, there was something in his expression that looked like regret. Someone Cole hired, Damien said quietly. Ava's breath caught. Why would he? Damien cut in gently, like he didn't want her imagination to run wild. To build a story. Ava's heart hammered. What kind of story? Damien's gaze held hers, steady, protective, but unmistakably serious. The kind he thinks will force you back, Damien said, or punish you for leaving. Ava felt cold all over, and the worst part was how quickly her mind jumped to the same thought. He'll show the photo. He'll twist it. He'll make me look guilty. Damien's voice dropped, firm. Ava, he said, look at me. She forced her eyes to his. You're not guilty, Damien said. And you're not alone. Ava swallowed hard, gripping her bag like it was the only solid thing left. Because somewhere behind them, in the crowd of New York, someone already had the image, and Ava didn't know who would see it first. The car felt smaller than before, not because of the space, but because Ava's thoughts had nowhere to go. She sat back against the leather seat, fingers laced together in her lap, staring at the reflection of the city sliding across the window. The word photo echoed in her head, sharp and invasive. Someone had been watching her. Someone had decided her private moment deserved to be turned into a weapon. Mia broke the silence first. Okay, she said carefully. I'm officially not hungry anymore. Ava let out a quiet breath that almost sounded like a laugh. Same. Damien's gaze stayed forward, one hand resting calmly on his knee, the other loosely clasped. He didn't look rushed. He didn't look angry. But there was a focus to him now that hadn't been there before. Tell me exactly what that means, Ava said softly. The photo. Damien nodded once. It means Cole is trying to control the narrative. Ava swallowed. By making it look like I moved on too fast. Yes? Mia leaned forward. Which is ridiculous. She's allowed to stand next to a man in a park. Damien agreed. It doesn't have to be logical to be effective. Ava closed her eyes for a second. What happens now? Now, Damien said, we stay ahead of it. Ava turned toward him. How? By refusing to hide, he replied. Her heart skipped. I don't want attention. I know, Damien said gently. That's why this works. People like Cole rely on shame, on making you feel like you did something wrong. Ava's throat tightened. And if people believe him? Damien's gaze met hers, steady and certain. Then they were never listening to you anyway. That sentence settled something inside her. The car stopped in front of the brownstone. The driver stepped out, opening the door. Damien didn't move immediately. He turned to Ava instead. Before we go inside, I need to ask you something. Ava nodded. Okay. Do you want me to handle this? He said. Or do you want to? Ava frowned. What does that mean? It means I can make the photo irrelevant, Damien explained, quietly, or I can stand beside you while you make it irrelevant. Ava's pulse thudded. What would you do? Damien didn't hesitate. I'd stand beside you. Ava studied him. Even if it makes things harder? Yes. Ava took a breath. Then that's what I want. Damien inclined his head. Done. Inside, the brownstone felt like a cocoon. Safe. Still. Ava set her bag down and leaned against the counter. Suddenly exhausted. I don't want to be scared of him anymore. You're not scared, Damien said. You're alert. There's a difference. She looked at him. I don't feel brave. You don't have to, he replied. You just have to keep choosing yourself. Mia sighed dramatically. You two are exhausting in the best way. Ava smiled faintly. You don't have to stay. Yes, I do, Mia said firmly. At least until I know you're okay. Damien nodded. You can stay as long as you want. Mia raised an eyebrow. See? Respectful. I'm telling you. Ava rolled her eyes, but warmth spread through her chest. They ordered food, simple, comforting, and ate at the kitchen island, conversation drifting into lighter things without forcing it. Damien listened more than he spoke. Ava noticed how he remembered details she hadn't realized she'd shared. After dinner, Mia stood and stretched. Okay, I'm going to head out before I third wheel myself into a permanent position. Ava frowned. You don't have to. Mia hugged her tight. I know, but you're not alone anymore. That's different. She pulled back and looked at Damien. Take care of her. Damien met her gaze. I will. When the door closed behind Mia, the quiet returned. Ava leaned against the counter, arms folded loosely. She trusts you. I know, Damien said. That matters. Ava hesitated, then asked the question that had been building since the car. If you hadn't overheard me, would you have ever approached me? Damien was quiet for a moment. No. Her heart dipped. Why? Because you were married, he said simply, and because wanting someone doesn't give me the right to disrupt their life. Ava absorbed that. You wanted me. Yes. The word sent a small shiver through her. But wanting isn't the same as taking, Damien added. I waited. Ava stepped closer without realizing it. How long? Long enough to know I wasn't imagining it. Her voice dropped. Imagining what? That you're rare, he said quietly. That you don't perform for attention. That you listen. That you care even when it costs you. Ava's chest tightened. You make it sound like a diagnosis. His mouth curved faintly. It is. The space between them felt charged, but unhurried. Ava reached out, fingers brushing his wrist. Are you afraid? Damien didn't pull away. Of you? Yes. His gaze darkened slightly. Yes. Her breath hitched. Why? Because I don't control how you make me feel, he said, and I don't like pretending I do. Ava swallowed. What do you feel? Protective, Damien said, but not possessive, drawn, interested, and... He paused, then continued honestly. Invested. The words settled deep. Ava stepped fully into his space now, close enough to feel his heat. I don't want to be a problem in your life. You're not, Damien said. You're a choice. That did it. Ava rose onto her toes and kissed him. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't desperate. It was sure. Damien's hands came to her waist, steady, grounding. He responded slowly, like he was making a promise rather than a move. Ava melted into him, her fingers curling into the fabric of his shirt. The kiss deepened, warmth spreading through her, desire blooming without fear. When Damien pulled back, it was with effort. Tell me to stop, he murmured. Ava shook her head. Stay. His forehead rested against hers. If we keep going, this becomes something. It already is, Ava whispered. Damien searched her face. I won't rush you. I don't want to be rushed, she said, but I don't want to hold back out of fear either. Damien nodded, understanding. He kissed her again, slower this time, savoring. They moved together naturally, unforced. Touches lingered. Smiles slipped in between kisses. There was laughter when Ava bumped her knee against the counter, and Damien murmured, Careful, like it mattered. Eventually, they ended up on the couch. Ava curled against his side, her head resting on his chest. Damien's arm wrapped around her without claiming, just holding. Ava traced slow patterns on his shirt. "If that photo comes out, I'll be there," Damien said. "And if it gets ugly, I'll still be there." Ava looked up at him. "Even if it costs you something?" Damien met her gaze. "Especially then." Her throat tightened. "You don't even know how this ends." Damien brushed his thumb along her cheek. "I know how this part feels. That's enough." Ava breathed him in, feeling safe in a way she hadn't felt in years. Outside, New York moved on, unaware, uncaring. But inside that brownstone, something solid had formed. And even as Ava drifted toward sleep in Damien's arms, one thought lingered at the edge of her mind. If Cole released the photo, it wouldn't just test her strength. It would test whether Damien Russo was ready to stand beside her, publicly. And Ava wasn't sure which part scared her more. The photo surfaced the next morning. Ava knew before she even unlocked her phone. The quiet felt different, tight, alert, like the city itself was holding its breath. Damien was already awake, standing by the window with his coffee, phone in hand, jaw set in a way she recognized now, not anger, control. He turned when he heard her steps. "It's out." Ava nodded, heart steady in a way that surprised her. "I figured." He crossed the room and handed her his phone without hesitation. No warning, no softening of the truth. The image was clear, too clear. Ava sitting on the bench by the river, Damien beside her, his body angled toward hers, her hand mid-gesture, his attention unmistakably focused on her. It wasn't scandalous, it wasn't explicit, but it told a story Cole wanted told. The caption, posted by an anonymous account and already being shared in small, hungry circles, read, "She moved on fast. Guess the marriage wasn't that broken." Ava stared at it for a long moment. Then she handed the phone back. "That's it?" she said. Damien searched her face. "You're okay." "I am," Ava replied honestly. "Because it's not a lie. It's just incomplete." Damien exhaled, tension easing from his shoulders. "Good." Her phone buzzed in her hand. Mia, then another message, then another. Ava opened Mia's first. "Mia. Okay, I saw it. And before you spiral, let me be very clear. That photo makes you look calm, not guilty. Also, he looks like he's guarding you with his life." 10 out of 10 optics. Ava smiled despite herself. Another message came through, this one from a number she didn't recognize. "Unknown. You don't owe anyone an explanation, but if you want one, say the word." She looked up at Damien. "Your attorney?" "Yes." Ava took a breath. "I don't want to hide behind statements." Damien nodded immediately. "Then we won't." Ava felt something settle inside her chest, solid and sure. "I want to speak, as myself." Damien's gaze softened, pride flickering through his eyes. "Then I'll stand next to you." They didn't rush. They dressed like it mattered, not to impress, but to be seen clearly. Ava chose a simple dress, structured but soft, something she would have worn before she learned how to disappear. Damien wore a dark coat, crisp and understated, his presence steady beside her. When they stepped out of the building together, there were no crowds, no flashing cameras. Just a quiet sidewalk and a city that didn't care unless you gave it a reason to. They gave it one. The cafe across the street was full, windows open. People inside paused when they saw them enter together. Ava felt the eyes, not invasive, just curious. Damien pulled out a chair for her. Ava sat tall. She took out her phone, fingers steady, and opened her social account, the one she'd barely used for years. The one Cole had always said was pointless. She typed, not fast, not angry, not defensive. Just honest. "For anyone wondering, my marriage ended because trust ended. I didn't leave to be with someone else. I left to be with myself. What you saw was not betrayal. It was the moment I realized I wasn't alone anymore. I won't explain my healing to people who benefit from my silence." She read it once, then posted. Her heart raced, but it wasn't fear, it was relief. Damien watched her carefully. "How do you feel?" Ava smiled, small and real. "Like I just closed a door that was slamming for years." Within minutes, the comments shifted. Support drowned out speculation. Friends she hadn't heard from in years reached out. Women she didn't know shared pieces of their own stories. The anonymous account went quiet. Cole tried once more. "Cole, you're making a mistake." Ava didn't reply. She blocked him. The silence afterward felt earned. That afternoon, Damien took her somewhere she didn't expect. Not a restaurant, not a penthouse. A small gallery in Soho. Paintings lined the walls. Bold, expressive, unapologetic. Ava wandered slowly, drawn to one in particular. A woman painted mid-step, eyes lifted, expression unafraid. "She looks like she knows where she's going," Ava murmured. Damien stood beside her. "She does." Ava turned to him. "Why bring me here?" "Because this place is opening a second location," Damien said. "And the owner needs a partner who understands vision, not just numbers." Ava's heart skipped. "You're offering me a job?" "I'm offering you a choice," Damien corrected. "Independent. Yours. No ties to me unless you want them." Ava stared at him. "You keep doing that." "Giving you options?" he asked. She nodded, voice soft. "You're not trying to keep me." Damien's gaze held hers. "I don't need to. I want you to stay because you choose to." Ava swallowed hard. That night, back at the brownstone, the city lights glowed through the windows like quiet witnesses. Ava stood by the glass, arms wrapped around herself, thinking about how close she'd come to believing the story Cole told her about who she was. Damien approached slowly, stopping behind her, not touching until she leaned back into him. "You okay?" he asked. Ava nodded. "I'm better than okay." He wrapped his arms around her then, solid and warm. She rested her head against his chest. "I used to think love meant staying," Ava said quietly. "Enduring. Explaining yourself until someone finally understands." Damien's voice was low against her hair. "And now? Now I think love means being seen without having to perform." His arms tightened slightly. "I can do that." Ava turned in his embrace, looking up at him. "You already are." She kissed him then, unhurried, confident. The kind of kiss that didn't ask for permission because it already had it. They moved together naturally, the way people do when there's nothing left to prove. The night unfolded softly. Laughter, whispered conversations, the slow discovery of comfort and desire without fear. Later, wrapped in sheets that smelled like safety, Ava traced a line along Damien's arm. "Are you happy?" she asked. Damien didn't answer right away. He looked at her like he was memorizing the moment. "Yes," he said finally. "And that's not something I say lightly." Ava smiled, heart full. "Neither do I." Weeks passed. The photo faded. The noise moved on to someone else. Ava's life, for the first time, stayed. She signed the lease on a small studio space near the gallery. She started consulting, quietly at first, then with confidence. People listened when she spoke now, not because she was louder, but because she didn't doubt herself. Damien stayed by her side, not hovering, not claiming, just present, at openings, at dinners, at home. One evening, as they walked along the river again, Ava stopped at the same bench. She laughed softly. Full circle. Damien tilted his head. "You don't regret it?" She shook her head. "I regret not leaving sooner." He took her hand. "Then this is exactly where you were meant to end up." Ava squeezed his fingers. "With you." He met her gaze, voice warm. "With you." As the city lights reflected off the water, Ava realized something simple and powerful. She hadn't been rescued. She hadn't been replaced. She hadn't been rushed or claimed or hidden. She had been chosen after choosing herself. And this time, she was staying. Because love, real love, didn't ask her to shrink. It made space for her to stand exactly where she belonged.